Mic'd up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, or man and woman. Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast on a relatively quiet night. A little bit depressed. I was kind of hoping for a win there. I just had a feeling we weren't going to have one though. It's one of those where they just do this on the road, especially, and they do it in extra innings. They just cannot seem to win. Big moment for Judge, but just for the most part, a lackluster performance, and then some really bad calls at the end.
I
Um, just
I actually
decisions and
thought,
calls.
I thought the game was going to be over 45 minutes before it was because you saw I texted you and said, "Hey, the game's not working with the timing of my dinner. I was barbecuing and watching outside."
Hmm.
Anyhow, what the DJ call was horrible. I mean, I don't understand what took so long. I mean, chalk flew up in the air to quote John McEnroe. The Volpe call they got correct. He was out.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
but and I didn't get in that case why they sent them. I don't understand this thing. They were talking about it. They're playing for 2 runs. This is the reason why they always lose this because they don't. This is the problem with the mindset
Just
playing for
stole
two
all
runs.
my thunder. Did you see my
I'm
thunder go right
sorry.
through the room to you?
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. That was the magic words. Why was he running if they're trying to score 2 runs?
All right, I'm going to go further. I don't understand this 2 runs thing. I get it. I get it logically. But what you're doing here, I mean, I get it strategically. I see what they're trying to do. But the problem with it is what they're missing is that run is an emotional thing. It's scary for the other team. It puts the team up against the wall. Pressure is on for them to score because it's tie to win. It's tie or lose instead of score and win. Different mindset. When you have to score that run, when you've got to get them in there in order to tie to keep the game going, there's more pressure. Put pressure on the other team. Don't think in terms of scoring 2 runs. Score one and make it happen. It makes me crazy.
Well, the odds of I don't. I'm going to try and
I'm
look something up and see if I get this.
I'm sure there's stats that say I'm wrong, but I don't. It's one of those things where I don't need to be. I don't need to know that I'm right in this case. I know I'm right because I think that the problem is that this is the mindset that they're trying to sell, and it isn't working. It has not been working for 2 years. I don't think that they've played well in maybe 3 years. They played well in the 10th inning or 11th inning. They just don't do it well, and they have to give it up. They need a new plan because, especially in that circumstance, it just wasn't. It was not where you wanted to be in the batting order, and you got to do everything you can to get that guy in right then and do it and be happy. It makes me crazy that they don't. And the minute they don't do it, I know they're going to lose, and they do every time.
All
Every
right,
time.
so man on second with nobody out. The odds on scoring 1 run is 35%.
Okay.
So that's
What is it? What's the 2 runs? So roughly 1 in 3,
right.
you're going to get him in. Okay.
I actually, Adam, looking at the stats, looking at the stats on some actuary's website. It was a project that they did for a given situation, what the expected number of runs scored in the rest of the inning is, as well as all the historical distributions. So what they did is they ran it 255,562 times. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times. It's a good sample size. It's not just me and you talking. With a man on second, nobody out, the odds of scoring no runs is 37%. The odds of scoring 1 run is 35. The odds of scoring two is 14. After that, it drops down to 6 and then much lower. So listening to what you're saying, I was originally thinking that was more like 45 to 55% chance that you would score 1 run, which means it's 50-50 that the 1 run is going to get you in. And the other team's going to score at least 1 run. But looking at these numbers, that it's only 14% that they're going to score 2 runs, and it's one
Two.
third. That means the chance of you losing by scoring 1 run is only 14%. So
Uh,
I actually think that although people yell and scream and jump up and down in the analytics world, that this is what was necessary. I actually am more in favor of it now that the Yankees play for one run.
Yeah,
And that's what's really, really interesting to me is
and
I went into this conversation. Listen, I went into this
I
conversation.
changed your mind. I got you
No,
to
you
read.
didn't. You didn't change my mind. Well, first of all, I agree that the first step is Volpe should never have been running. If you're playing for two runs, there is absolutely no reason for Volpe to run.
Yeah, because
Absolutely
his
zero.
run isn't
Because
important
his
anymore if
run is
that's the
not the
mind.
one you're worried about. It's the next one. The second thing that I think is amusing though is his jump steal thing caused him to trip
Yeah,
and stumble. And he is a bad base stealer. I don't care that he steals 30 bases. I don't care if he steals 40 bases. I don't care if he steals 160. The guy is averaging is running. Sorry, English is my second language. Gibberish is my first. His percentage of stealing is just not good.
yeah.
It's just not good. And that's what bothers me. It should be 75% is good. And his is nowhere near it, um, has not been for since his rookie year, I don't think, when he was unstoppable, right? His
Very
rookie year,
early,
he was great.
correct. But it just this thing it gets me crazy. Another thing that's happening, they've been getting a lot of two-out hits lately. They've been doing something in the last couple of weeks that's been very, very positive, really anti-Yankee in many ways. They
Anti
actually hit with two outs on two
Yankee. I
outs.
don't.
You know, they're hitting, they're getting sacrifice flies, they're getting the runs in, and if they're not, they're scoring them on a two-out play. So my feeling is today is the day to bunt them over and see if we have two shots to get them in. They're hitting well. Do it. They're hitting in that situation for the last couple of weeks. Why not play it?
So yeah, so Volpe, just to get back to Volpe, his rookie year went 24 for 29. That's good. That's 80 over 80%. Last year he went 28 for 35, which drops him significantly below. And this year he is now officially 7 for 12 after today.
That's horrifying.
That's
That's a
horrifying. He's
bad
7
percentage,
for 11. He's just not
which
good.
I don't understand. How you can be, first of all, the catching isn't that good in the league. I'm sorry. And another thing is with the new bases, with the rules, these guys should be doing more. Why is
Well,
it that
it
they're
was also a lefty hitter and an outside pitch.
also, what's the thing? Why is he always looking? You said something today that was interesting. He does look in, doesn't he?
He looks at. Did he look? I was so disgusted. I didn't watch the replay. Did he look back at the catcher while he was trying to steal
I
third?
don't know, but he looked in the other one. He looked in the play at second where he's out,
Yes,
you know, and
absolutely.
that pissed me off.
And then you saw it. Even though Dominguez was only going to first base, you saw Dominguez. He just runs to first
He
base.
runs.
He runs
Oh,
the
and can
listen. He doesn't necessarily, nor does anybody run if he hits a routine ground ball to the second baseman.
also can you explain to me? Let's go. This is more. We haven't talked in a while. We haven't done the show in a while, so lots of emotions on this one. Lots to talk about. But what bothered me, what is wrong with Rojas? Why didn't he bring? He's got his fastest guy on the team. With it, definitely one of the three fastest guys on the team in Dominguez on a solid single to right, fast guy. Why did he hold him up? Why not give
Nope.
him a chance
I
to run
actually don't. I didn't think that was a bad play. There's nobody out. What's ever the guy's name
with
is?
the bottom of the order coming
Yeah,
up?
but there's nobody out, and there's uh,
Wells strikes out a
it's
lot.
early in the game. It's early in the game. It was in short right field, and their stud prospect has a stud arm. So I don't
Yeah,
have that big of a problem with that. My problem is Peraza swinging for the fences on every swing instead of they were
absolutely
going to give the
terrible.
Yankees they were going to give the Yankees that run as long as it wasn't a ground ball to third base. And
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 no contact.
The Yankees didn't make contact, and that was the
Nope.
bottom line. I don't really mind them not sending Dominguez on that particular. If there was two out, I definitely would have sent him because I was
Be
like, oh, this isn't
aggressive.
going to
Make
work.
them make a play. The fact
Right.
that he is a rookie means that he's likely going to screw that play up.
No,
He's not going quite. Oh,
not
come
that
on.
guy. That not when he's the stud. I mean, he's a center fielder by practice. So the problem he has is the angles. So once he picks up the ball, it's a non-issue.
I'd
And
love it. I wish we had some people on the show tonight listening because I'd love to hear if people have an opinion on this. If there's anybody listening, if you have an opinion, please tell us by clicking on the live button what you think about that play. I personally think the Yankees need to be aggressive in those. Crochet is not going to give up any runs.
well,
They
no,
got to
that's
get that guy in.
now you're going to get to the other piece that I have in my head regarding this entire game was, listen. Yankees do not hit good pitching. I was actually, you're going to love this story. I was at the bakery yesterday on Long Island, where I was, and the lady and her husband who was working there, both
Mhm.
Yankee fans wearing Yankee garb, and we started talking about the Yankee team, and another guy came in with a Yankee hat, and we're talking, and they're like, "Oh, there's such a better team this year. They're blah blah blah, this that and the other thing. They don't need Soto." And I said to them, I said, "Listen, right now, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think from a 162 game perspective, this team is better because of the length of the lineup, because there's less dead weight. Even with bad
Mhm.
pitching, there's less dead weight at the bottom of the lineup." I said, but the problem you run into is the teams that make the playoffs and do well are teams that don't have garbage pitching. You know,
Mhm.
you just don't see teams like that, and you have to have guys who can hit that pitching. And the number
Yep.
of guys in baseball who can hit that high level, Terrence Skubal type hitting, Paul Skeens type guys, most of the Dodger guys when they're healthy, um, those guys are the guys on the teams that make the playoffs. You know, Sandy Alcantara would be an exception to the rule because he's a great pitcher on a bad team, although he's not
Mhm.
been great this year, although he was his last start. They don't hit the good pitching, and you need a guy like Sosa and you need a guy like Judge in the middle of the lineup. Your hope is that Goldschmidt can hit the better pitching, but right now he's in a pretty big slump even against left-handed hitting. So I think that over 162 games, yes, I think this team will have less dead periods, even though they scored one yesterday and one today. But against the good pitching, they're just not. They're just not going to do it. I'm really scared of what's going to happen. And then, last but not least, I mean, I know Williams pitched 2 days in a row, so they were not going to use him. That's a non-issue. There's nothing we could do about that. I know Goose Gossage would have grabbed whoever the manager was at the time: Billy Martin, Luke Canella, Bob Lemon, Billy Martin, Bob Lemon, Billy Martin, Yogi Berra, Billy Martin. Any one of those guys by
Wait a minute. I think
by the
you
scruff of
missed
the
one
neck.
Billy. You need to throw in one more Billy.
Well, I've left out Dick Hauser. So I forgot Dick Hauser too. Um, it's just he would have grabbed him. I said, "What do you mean I'm not pitching today? Shut up. Put me in the game." I mean, it's he says a lot of wild stuff, but he would have just said, "It's the Red Sox. Win the game, and you win the game by putting me in."
Hmm.
And that's the bottom line. I mean, the fact that their bullpen is just shot. I mean, I was hoping, in my hope of hopes, that Mr. Chapman would have, choked on his own vomit or the infection from his tattoo like last season and stunk, and the Yankees could have beat him, because that would have just destroyed him for the rest of the season. Now they're going to have to put up with him for tomorrow and or Sunday, because
But
he's
if the
not
Red
out of
Sox, the Red Sox are 4 games under 500. They play really well against this team. You ever notice that?
it. They
They
play well
really
against
play
the
well against the Yankees.
Yes, I mean they made one error today, but they didn't make any in New York when they were playing.
Yeah,
So
their defense stinks. They don't seem to do anything well,
no.
except they do have a really great starting pitching. I
Well, they
don't
do
see the
right now.
hit.
They have good.
They
They don't
got
have great
Devers,
starting. They don't have great starting pitching. They've had great starting pitching
front
through
approach.
this time through the rotation. I was because I have the MLB baseball package, and I don't get Yes Network. The Yes Network is one of the few, if not the only, network that doesn't put their pregame show on MLB TV. I was watching the Red Sox pregame show, and they were talking about how the starting pitchers haven't been giving them any depth whatsoever, except since the Yankee series, they've all seemed to turn it around.
Yeah,
Their
but they
last
lost two
rotation
games
through,
in that series. Didn't
right?
they lose? They
They
lost
lost. They
games.
lost 2 out of 3 in their last series, but Giolito and I forgot the other guy both pitched deep
Bueller,
into the game. What?
Bueller, Bueller.
Bueller, whatever his name is. His name was with a B. I forgot his name.
Or was it
Bello, or whatever.
Bello?
Yeah,
Bello.
those guys gave them length in the last series. So the Red Sox starting
Who's
pitching is
pitching
not been good. Their
tomorrow?
middle relief is horrible, and believe it or not, Chapman has been good this year. He's 12 for 13 in save situations for them, and he didn't start as
Yeah.
their closer. Um, but their offense is what's been carrying them, and their offense has been stumbling lately, except for
Hmm.
Devers, who never stumbles against the Yankees. But
Never.
it's just amazing to me that the Yankees, there was an article in the Post today that I couldn't get at because it's behind the paywall and I'm cheap
Hmm.
and I haven't paid for that. Um, but there was an article about the Yankees bullpen and how they need
Hmm.
bullpen help. You know what? They do. I would have felt very comfortable scoring only one run if Weaver was the guy, or even Williams was going to be the guy to pitch the bottom of the inning. But they don't have that because Williams was unavailable and Weaver is hurt. So that also maybe came into play with regard to their thinking, is that they didn't think Hill was going to be the guy to keep everything under wraps like he was
But what are
supposed
they going to do tomorrow? If they gave up, Loizac is done, Hill is done, and Hamilton's probably done. Who do they have tomorrow?
to. Well, they got Williams, and they have Leiter, Williams, and Efros.
Efros.
But they also you got to and Visantos, De Los Santos. You got to also remember tomorrow Fried's throwing, right?
All right, well, that's
So
great.
you got to if Fried doesn't have it, it doesn't matter who comes in from the bullpen because it's going to be a problem.
Is it a tomorrow night game or a day game?
It's night for you, 4:15 for me.
Hmm.
So I get to go play golf and then be home in plenty of time to watch the game.